A sailboat can be beautiful and still feel like camping. A luxury apartment sailboat is different. It's not just nicer cushions, it's architecture, it's flow, it's light. It's the quiet, invisible infrastructure that makes you forget you're living on a moving platform. So here are the top 7 modern sailboats that genuinely feel like a luxury apartment. And I'm not ranking by price. I'm ranking by the apartment effect, how much they erase the old sailboat compromises. Before the list, here's the short recipe. A floating apartment needs 3 things. First, rectangularized hull volume, maximum beam carried aft, and hard chines that flare the topsides so cabins stop feeling wedge-shaped. Second, erased thresholds, less ladder, more staircase. The cockpit and saloon should feel like one continuous living space. Third, glass and autonomy. Big windows, big light, and utilities that behave like a home. Quiet power, big water, climate control, and digital switching that makes the boat feel like a smart apartment. Now let's get into the boats.
Number 1. Oyster 495. This is the pocket super yacht version of an apartment. If most production yachts feel like airy lofts, the Oyster feels like a bespoke townhouse built out of solid materials. The apartment feeling here comes from one thing first: mass. The Oyster 495 sits at around 21,000 kilograms of light ship displacement, nearly double the weight of some competitors in this size band. That weight is not just the number, it's the motion profile. Light boats react fast, they feel twitchy. Heavy boats dampen acceleration and feel calm, predictable, and stable in a way that's closer to a building than a tent. That's why people describe this kind of platform as a Cadillac ride. You move around without bracing as much. Life on board feels less like you're adapting to the boat and more like the boat is behaving like a home. The second apartment pillar is the glass wall phenomenon, and Oyster does it in a very specific way: these seascape windows. These are not little portholes, they're architectural vertical windows, including in the owner's cabin, positioned so you can lie in the island berth and see the sea at eye level. That is the overwater bungalow effect. Then add the raised deck saloon with wraparound windows, calculated so a person sitting at the dining table has a direct sight line to the horizon. That's not just pretty, it integrates inside social space with the outside world, which is exactly what luxury apartments do with waterfront glazing. Then you touch everything and it feels residential. Oyster's joinery is hand-finished hardwood with book-matched grain across locker doors. Fiddles and edges are solid timber, not just veneer. The galley is a real kitchen, a U-shaped sea-kindly layout, but equipped like a luxury apartment with domestic-grade appliances, including a dishwasher and optional washer and dryer hidden behind cabinet doors. And the systems layer matters. Oyster Command digital switching. It's the smart home analog, lighting scenes, dimming, mood lighting, monitoring tankage, and controlling the environment from touchscreens. The apartment feeling here is solidity, silence, craftsmanship, and curated control.
Number 2. Amel 50. If the Oyster is a bespoke townhouse, the Amel 50 is a fortress penthouse. The apartment feeling here is protection. The core design promise is you should never be wet, cold, or stressed. Amel's cockpit is not an outdoor cockpit in the traditional sense. It's a conservatory. A rigid hardtop with an integrated glass windscreen and a sliding sunroof is standard. That hardtop changes the entire lifestyle. It turns the cockpit into a usable living zone in bad weather. You can helm or dine protected, and the enclosure is good enough that the cockpit can effectively become climate-controlled exterior space. That's a key luxury residence trait. You're not going outside to suffer. You're stepping onto a sheltered balcony. Amel's second pillar is safety as luxury. The helm sits forward in the cockpit, protected by the hardtop and windscreen, and the boat is laid out so the owner can manage the ship from that protected zone with lines led to electric winches. That's the apartment logic. Your control interfaces are where your hands want them, and you don't have to leave the safe, sheltered living space to run the property. Then there's the engineering that feels like living in a secure building. Amel uses watertight bulkheads forward and aft, plus in the engine room. That's rare in leisure boats, and the psychological impact is huge. It's the difference between feeling like you live in a normal apartment and feeling like you live in a building with a security system. The boat is designed to isolate and compartmentalize risk. And the most residential infrastructure feature on the Amel 50 is the engine room concept. Instead of cramming machinery under the companionway, you get a dedicated walk-in engine room accessed via the cockpit floor. It's heavily insulated for acoustic isolation, keeping the interior quiet when the engine or generator runs. Maintenance happens in the utility space away from the clean living quarters. That's literally a service entrance concept from high-end real estate. Amel also bakes in standardized luxury rather than calling it options. Domestic appliances like a dishwasher, deep freezer, and often a washing machine are designed into the layout from day one. The boat feels like it was planned as a residence, not a hull that got upgraded. Number 3. Beneteau Oceanis Yacht 54. This is the monomoran idea, a monohull that lives like a catamaran. The apartment feeling here is flow. The OY54 aggressively erases vertical thresholds and separates living from working like a modern penthouse with distinct zones. The cockpit is designed to be flush and walkable, with deep, safe walkways so movement from swim platform to companionway feels unimpeded. And the cockpit is not one mixed-use space, it's zoned. The aft third is the sailing cockpit with twin helms and winch access. The forward two-thirds is a dedicated lounge cockpit with low tables and sofas physically separated from the working gear. That's apartment layout logic. You can have guests in the living room without them sitting inside the kitchen during dinner service. Then you go below and the companionway doesn't feel like a ladder. It's designed with a gentler descent, around a 45-degree slope, with substantial handrails. It feels like stairs, not a hatch. That changes psychology. It makes inside and outside feel like one continuous residence with a terrace. Now, the pure apartment metric, floor area. The OY54 carries a 5.00-meter beam, which translates to a massive saloon footprint and open-plan architecture. It's designed to feel like a modern apartment kitchenette and living space, not a narrow galley corridor. And Beneteau integrates domestic amenities like a pop-up TV and a wine fridge into the furniture structure, so the interior stays uncluttered. In apartments, luxury is often about what you don't see: hidden storage, integrated systems, clean surfaces. Systems control is also explicitly home-like. Ship control simplifies monitoring of batteries and tanks and controlling lighting and air conditioning from screens or tablets, bridging the gap between a yacht's complexity and the user interface of a modern building. Accommodation follows the apartment logic too. The master suite is forward, designed like a hotel suite with an island bed around 1.60 meters wide and an ensuite with a separate shower. At anchor, where apartment living matters most, the forward suite is removed from cockpit and generator noise. This is how you bring superyacht layout language into production scale.
Number 4. Hallberg-Rassy 44. This is the Scandinavian sanctuary. If the Beneteau is a glass-walled loft, the HR44 is a quiet library apartment. The apartment feeling here is silence, insulation, and tactile quality. Hallberg-Rassy uses Divinacell PVC foam core insulation in the hull, which works thermally and acoustically. Owners describe the shoreside acoustic environment. The constant rushing water noise that many thinner boats transmit is dramatically reduced. Lockers and floorboards fit with precision, reducing creaks and groans that destroy the home illusion. Then there's a very specific residential choice, the armchair saloon configuration. You can replace the starboard settee with two captain's chairs or armchairs separated by a small cabinet. This is not a marine gimmick, it's living room logic. Standard boat settees are bench-like and upright. HR armchairs are contoured, deep-seated, and create a true lounge zone where you can read or watch a retractable TV like you would at home. And the HR-44 blends classic interior warmth with modern push-button assistance. The Knopfzegelen concept is central. Hydraulic or electric in-mast furling, electric winches, and bow or stern thrusters can be specified to keep physical workload low. That's how you preserve the apartment lifestyle. The boat does not demand athleticism as the price of admission. Twin rudders add to the calm feel underway by providing immense grip and a train-on-rails tracking behavior. It's predictable, stable, and yes, mentally taxing. The galley is typically linear, providing long counter runs and storage that feels like a compact shoreside kitchen. And the aft cabin becomes a true retreat, centerline berth, ensuite, cozy and protected. It may not be glass villa, but it's the kind of apartment you choose because it feels secure, quiet, and solid.
Number 5. Jeanneau Sun Odyssey 490. This is ergonomic innovation turned into residential flow. The apartment feeling here begins on deck with the walk-around design. Traditional boats force you to climb over coamings and edge along narrow side decks. The SO 490 uses side decks that slope gently down from bow to stern, meeting cockpit level. You can walk from the helm to the foredeck without stepping up or over a barrier. That does two apartment things at once. It removes vertical thresholds and it turns the deck into a continuous terrace around the residence. Then, Jeanneau doubles down with the parental suite concept forward. The bed is rectangular, around 1.60 by 2.00 meters, not tapered. That means standard domestic bedding and a normal sleep experience. More importantly, you get circulation space on three sides of the bed, which is a massive luxury on a monohull. Jeanneau even designs in a central armoire intended to mount a television, turning the master into a private media room. The ensuite shower offers about 6'6" headroom, which avoids that cramped boat head feeling and pushes the space closer to hotel suite logic. The cockpit is convertible apartment furniture. Coamings fold down flat to become massive sunbeds, transforming the cockpit into a lounge deck like a luxury patio. And under the skin, the Philippe Briand hull carries a hard chine full length, feeding form stability and maximizing internal volume. The result is a boat that feels bigger than its length when you're living inside it. This is also one of the strongest examples of the erased threshold trend. The deck and cockpit geometry work together, so inside and outside feel like one property with multiple zones, rather than separate levels you climb between. Number 6. Dufour 470. This is the entertainer's apartment. The core apartment feeling here is indoor-outdoor lifestyle, plus hotel suite bathroom logic. Dufour pioneered the aft-outdoor galley concept. The transom seat lifts, the swim platform lowers, and you get a dedicated cooking station with a gas grill plancha and a sink. This moves heat, smoke, and cooking smells out of the interior, keeping the saloon clean and cool. It turns meal pret into a social event on the terrace, like a balcony barbecue in a luxury condo. Then Dufour brings residential practicality into the owner's suite with split bathroom layouts, shower in its own compartment on one side, toilet and basin on the other. That's hotel logic. Two people can use the space simultaneously without conflict, which sounds small until you live aboard. The interior is frequently described as loft-like, and Dufour earns that through light architecture. Longitudinal skylights run along the coach roof, flooding the saloon with natural light. The saloon table is often electrically lowerable, converting the dining zone into a massive daybed or movie lounge. That's apartment furniture logic, convertible spaces that change function without clutter. Aesthetics follow the modern apartment language: light timbers, Corian surfaces, bright minimalist finishes. And the hull form pushes beam usage. This is a platform designed to maximize the sense of space and open-plan living. Number 7. Hanse 460. This is the volume king. If your definition of luxury apartment is, how is this much space possible?
The Hanse 460 is the purest expression of modern hull geometry turning into residential volume. The key architectural tool is chines, hard angles in the hull used both aft and, crucially, forward. Traditional hulls taper at the bow, which makes forward cabins cramped. The Hanse uses forward chines to keep the waterline entry narrow for cutting through waves, while flaring the hull aggressively just above the waterline to create massive volume where the cabin lives. That forward volume enables true apartment amenities in the owner's suite, a large island bed, and enough width for separate shower stall and head in the forward suite, features that used to require a bigger hull. This is the rectangularization trend pushed forward. The bow stops feeling like a wedge and starts behaving like a real bedroom. Hanse also leans into modern residential aesthetics with a clean Bauhaus interior language, flat surfaces, clean lines, minimal traditional moldings. It looks like a modern Berlin apartment rather than a yacht built around nautical trim. Then there's customization. Hanse offers an unusually deep layout menu, up to 48 combinations, so owners can configure the apartment to match real life. And one option is pure liveaboard logic, a utility room layout that replaces a cabin or head with a dedicated utility space for washing machine, work surface, and cleaning storage. That is literally the missing room in most boats, the one that makes long-term living feel organized instead of improvised. Finally, Hanse acknowledges entertainment and connectivity as part of the apartment mandate. The entertainment package integrates high-end components like a pop-up TV and a fusion audio system with subwoofers, so the media experience feels closer to home theater than boat stereo. Now here's the takeaway that connects all seven. They all achieve the luxury apartment feel through the same modern playbook, but with different philosophies. Oyster 495, bespoke estate, heavy displacement, seascape windows, hand-finished joinery, smart home style switching. Amel 50, protected sanctuary, hardtop conservatory cockpit, watertight bulkheads, walk-in engine room, standardized domestic appliances. Beneteau Oceanis Y54, open-plan monomoran, zoning, flow, gentle stairs, integrated entertainment. Ship control. Hallberg-Rassy 44, quiet Scandinavian library, insulated hull, armchair living room, push-button sailing, twin rudders for rails-like tracking. Sun Odyssey 490, ergonomic terrace apartment, walk-around decks, parental suite with real circulation, convertible sunbed cockpit. Dufour 470, entertainer's loft, outdoor plancha kitchen, split suite bathroom, skylight lit saloon with convertible lounge table. Hanse 460, maximum volume modern apartment. Forward chines for true owner suite volume, Bauhaus interior, utility room option, integrated entertainment. And what makes this era different is that luxury is no longer just finishes, it's the infrastructure of autonomy. Water independence, power grids, climate control, and digital switching. The premium baby superyachts like Oyster and Amel are designed from the keel up to carry heavy loads and integrate large tankage and systems cleanly, so the apartment utilities feel natural and quiet. The production leaders like Beneteau, Jeanneau, Dufour, and Hanse deliver insane square footage per dollar, but the true luxury apartment spec often comes from how you option and equip them, because the amenities are available, but you choose the level. So the question isn't which is the best. The real question is, what kind of luxury apartment do you want to live in? The bespoke estate that feels carved from hardwood and silence? The fortress penthouse that keeps you dry and calm no matter what? The glass loft designed for flow and entertaining? Or the maximum volume modern flat that gives you the most space for the least compromise? Because in 2026, the floating apartment isn't a fantasy, it's a solved design problem, and these 7 boats are the clearest proof.